Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Celebrity and Variety Talk. This is your host, Josie Latimer, coming to you on this New Year's Day, evening rather, because it's pretty late. But it's still New Year's Day around 11:20. I just heard that Nick Gordon, remember Bobby Christina's boyfriend, who was actually someone that Whitney Houston had taken into her home, and Bobby Christina ended up dating him. And Bobby, first of all, Whitney Houston OD'd, and he was on the scene. So my thoughts was it was a little something weird about him that I felt when they said he was on the scene with Whitney Houston. And the reason I felt he pretty much had something to do with her death was because of the fact that he was there on the scene, and then also because he knew he pretty much had his way with Bobby Christina, and that he really wanted to take charge over everything that Whitney Houston owned. I mean, that was just my take because it was just too weird of a situation for him to have been on the scene at that time when they found her in that bathtub. Okay. And then it turned around that not long after then, her daughter, Bobby Christina, um, OD'd. Same thing, he was there on the scene. And for him to be on the scene both times with both of those women and pretty much same situation, I just felt that it was something connected, that he had a connection with their deaths. I always felt like that. It was some creepy to it. And I always kind of got the creeps uh, about him. But my condolences still go out to his mother, his family, and all of his friends, people that did love him. I mean, I don't take that away, their grieving part away. I'm only talking about how I felt when Whitney Houston and Bobby Christina both died, and he was on the scene both times. That's just my personal opinion, you guys. I hope you don't get angry at me, but everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and I always got the creeps behind that. I got the creeps behind that sister-in-law too. That was it was just some sly, like a sly fox, something always dangling around. And to me, it was a creeps behind. I felt the creeps with him. I felt the creeps with her, and I felt the creeps with Whitney Houston's brother, who allegedly was the one that started her out on drugs. I felt that that whole environment had a demonic spirit, and I felt that Bobby Brown had been attached to the demonic spirits, and that because Bobby Brown had a different type of a heart, Bobby Brown always was a very nice person, and I love a man that loved his kids. He always reached out to his children, and he has a great personality. Not because he's Aquarius like I am, but most Aquarius people are people, and Bobby Brown just had that little style about himself, and I feel that he was caught up in that environment when everybody was saying it was Bobby Brown that actually got Whitney on drugs. It was actually Whitney that already was on the drugs prior to getting with Bobby Brown. So I feel that the reason Bobby Brown was saved by the grace of God out of that whole demonic experience with those people was because God looked at his heart, and that he had a better spirit. Uh, those people, they were all in a demonic vibe. Because, first of all, for Whitney Houston to um, allow this boy in her home and date her daughter, to me, that was demonic. That wasn't right. You know, if you're raising them as sisters and brothers, what my mother wouldn't let no man sleep in the house with her children. We had to be married. We couldn't bring a guy into the house, less alone if she took someone in as her own son. So that was to me was demonic. And then to allow her daughter to date him, that was demonetic. And then to allow her daughter to be around that drug activity that her and Bobbie and everybody was doing, to me, all of that stuff was demonetic. And then when that guy took over Bobbie Christina, he had her mind. I mean, I felt it felt like the creeps to me because it felt like to me that she was dating and hanging out and screwing her own brother, even though they were not biological, but because of the fact that Whitney Houston had taken him in as a son, and they were raised like siblings opposed to someone that she met on her own outside of that house. And again, I say Bobby Brown was spared by God because of the fact of his heart. He has a good heart, and he's a nice person, has a great personality. And God was looking at his heart, even when people was putting Bobby Brown down, saying, "Oh, it was Bobby, it was Bobby." No, it was not Bobby. Uh, and so then this guy here, this Gordon guy, now he is dead at the age of 30. See, what goes around comes around, and all of that stuff was all linked together. One, two, three, all similar situations. You see what I'm saying? So that was a little demonetic spirit that was going on, and Bobby Brown should be happy that he got out of it and moved on with his life and got married and found someone he could grow and someone that could help him get away from those situations, that situation. But today, New Year's Day, Nick Gordon is dead at the age of 30, possibly overdose. I don't know if they actually found out the exact reason, but I think I heard that it was overdose. And so you live by the sword and you die by the sword, and what goes around comes around, you know? And for it to happen on New Year's Day, around New Year's holiday time, um, that is really something. That is really, that tells the story. It was all a mad mess, and it was nothing but the devil and a pack of demons that got up on them, and they all was in that same boat together. And actually, I fought Whitney Houston. Really, I do. Well, first I'll back it up. I fought her brother for turning his own sister on to cocaine and crack. I really fought her brother, and because of the fact, what brother would offer? My brothers would never offer me any drugs, because anytime you do drugs, you don't even know if the brother molested her or not. Because when people do drugs, they're out of their mind, and it's nothing but a sex meat market for anybody. They don't even, drugs take over the mind of the individuals. They don't even see that you're their sister. They don't even see anything. I mean, I've heard that people would do drugs and men would mess with men, women would mess with women, and these are people that would have been your friends and sisters and cousins, and just the drugs, just the sex stuff is just a demonetic spirit that takes over when people are doing those demonetic things, such as drugs, because the drugs take over the mind. And so I fought her oldest brother, her brother, who turned her on to the crack, and then I fought her for allowing her daughter to date a young man she took into her house as her son. And then I fought him for trying to take over her daughter, knowing that they were raised as, because Bobbie Christina, that little girl, didn't have a chance. She was witty, she was goofy, she was green, she was spoiled, and she giggled all the time. She never did grow up to be a woman. She never did grow up to be a woman. And so this young man, Nick Gordon, who passed today, had taken over Bobbie Christina. And so see how the devil is? Uh, he just jumped all over them. And he wrote them all down till he wiped them out. And that's how it is. And that's how I feel about it. And I feel that Nick Gordon did have something to do. And that sister-in-law and that brother, I felt creepy about them too. I'm just going to tell you how I felt. I felt, because anytime there is money involved, and And Whitney Houston was gullible because she was a crackhead. And a crackhead, if someone else around you, such as that sister in law that didn't do crack, they have full control over a crackhead. And so she had control over Whitney's money. And then I think I heard something about her and that guy, Nick Gordon, could have possibly connected together. It was just something demonetic about that entire situation. This is why, guys, if you don't have a lot of money like Whitney Houston had, and like many celebrities had, and how the devil comes and wipes it out, don't worry about it. As long as you have enough to survive, well, first of all, as long as you have God, you don't need all that money. All you need is Him because He's all the money you need. And when you have Him, you can have the love for mankind over, beneath the money. God will give you the money when you have that love in your heart for mankind that He created on this earth. But oftentimes people put their money before anybody. They put their money before God, when indeed on the dollar bill it tells you in God we trust. But people trust in money and not in God. And all that stuff comes crumbling down, as you could see. Whitney Houston, dead. Bobbie Christina, dead. Nick Gordon, dead. All of those people that was in that same household where Whitney had actually taken him into her house, and her daughter being in that house, in that environment, all of them are wiped out because that was just a demonic circle that was destined to take them out of here. And that's what it did. And they all went the same identical way. Association brings about simulation. If you're around bad vibes and energy, it will suck off on you, it will rub off on you, and it will take you out. So, you guys, for 2020, stay positive, stay away from anything negative, stay focused, and pray because it's too much going on in the world today. I just wanted to bring this to you that I just heard that Nick Gordon, 30 years old, has died, and they think it was overdose of drugs on New Year's Day. I just heard it, and I wanted to bring that to you. Those are my personal feelings. I feel that he was linked, him, the sister-in-law, the brother. I feel like all of them was linked because the reason I'm saying that is because the brother is the one that even turned Whitney, his own sister. I mean, because I feel like a man is no good that does that. So what would make me think that he wouldn't go any further? What would make me think he wouldn't go any further for the money, for the love of money? You see what I'm saying? Because no telling what he did to Whitney. No telling if he engaged with her in sex while they were getting high together on crack. And maybe the sister-in-law could have possibly, allegedly, been envious because of the fact she may know that there could have been incest going on through that drug situation. And Whitney Houston was found dead. And then later Bobbie Christina. And then I understand the sister-in-law took over the money. And she probably still have it. But it's not going to do her no good or no one no good that was attached to that demonic line. Because as you can clearly see, it was definitely demons all around that situation. From the brother all the way down. So that's what I'm going to say about it. And so whoever had Whitney's money, I wouldn't want it. I don't want to touch anything that's been linked to the devil. And because it had to be. For all three of them to OD it alike? What does that tell you? Uno, dos, tres? The same? Oh no. It had to be. And I wouldn't want Whitney Houston's money if I was her sister-in-law. Because even if she did it, or her brother did it, or even Nick Gordon did it, what good did it do him? What good will it do them? Or anyone that touched that? I would run away from that money so fast it would make my head swim. I wouldn't even want it. I'd be scared of it because it's packed with the devil and is destined to take someone out. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be coming back with more of Celebrity and Variety Talk. Have a happy 2020, regardless to what's going on in the world today. Bye.